On the ground, now! The woman turned to face me, her face covered by a black and white mask. It was fairly plain, save for the way it was shaped. On the white half was a horrific frown, but on the black half was a demented smile, and a scar was carved diagonally across both halves. The woman's presence was terrifying. She wore all red from her boots to her corset. But the air around her was completely devoid of emotion. She was cold to her core.
Do you believe in humanity? Is that what you're saying, Nova?
Shut up! I'm taking you in. You will be given a fair trial befitting of your terroristic actions.
Terrorist? So funny how easily that word is thrown around, isn't it, Nova? One man's terrorist is another's savior. I'm here to present you with a choice. This will be your only chance. Choose wisely.
Even as she spoke, there was no emotion in her voice. It was like ice came from whatever was behind that mask. I felt myself shaking as I pointed my weapon at her. I couldn't control this. It was as though her very presence brought this reaction about. Then I heard it from far below. I knew it was John. The cold voice spoke again.
Do you care about your partner? What about his friend? Are you capable of actual emotion?
I fired off 2 shots, but the bullet simply stopped in midair and dropped to the ground. I was awestruck and completely taken by surprise. I fired off the rest of my clip out of reaction, not even aware of what I was doing. But it was useless. The woman before me simply stood there, silent, bullets never even getting close to her. What do you want? Stop whatever you're doing to John, please! I sensed a shift in the air. It was as though I was a lab experiment to whatever monster this was. I felt vulnerable. I was feeling emotions, sensing them even. I hadn't felt this before. I didn't understand it. I was overwhelmed, completely confused. She spoke again.
Interesting.
Let him go, or so help me, I will fucking tear you to pieces right now. She tilted her head to the side, her movements almost mechanical. I felt something within me. I couldn't explain it. Stop! The room began to shake as office chairs began to lift and fly towards the woman. She didn't move, simply stood there. As the chairs bounced to the side of her, it was as though she were deflecting them with her mind. I lost it and rushed towards her, but as my fist reached her face, it stopped.
I don't believe you're ready for that.
I couldn't move. I was completely frozen. I kept trying to force my fist through this piece of shit's face, though. I started to see my arms struggling. It was slight movement, but it was movement. This seemed only to further interest the woman before me.
Well, how unexpected. You have some raw ability, but you lack discipline, experience, and respect.
The next second, I was thrown through the stairwell and into the wall. She still had never touched me. How did she have these abilities? I seemed to display some of the same. What is going on? John, I need to get to him. I shot up and went to run, but before I could, I was pulled backwards and turned around. I hung there, suspended in mid-air before this woman. She appeared to just stare at me, as though analyzing me. What the fuck are you? The woman turned around and walked towards the window. As she did, I was dragged alongside her, still suspended and helpless in the air. I was forced to look at the city far below.
I'm a catalyst.
Suddenly, all across the city, explosions erupted. This thing just stood there watching, silently, as though she had no care in the world. It was clear from what I was sensing, she wanted me to watch. The Freedom Tower shook as neighborhoods everywhere exploded into flames. There were so many screams. I could feel a wave of emotions hit me like a tsunami of death and pain. My tormentor still seemed completely unapologetic, or in any way sympathetic. I was helpless as the world continued to shake and the screams continued to fill the air.
Nova, bear witness, for this is just the beginning. New York is in flames, and it will soon be in ruins just as well. We will have the world in time, but for now, we must pave new roads with blood and suffering. Then we will rebuild. We are superior to humans in every way. They will have a chance at freedom of a sort.
I looked in horror and disgust. I felt sick, and I didn't even understand how I could feel anything. Let John go. Please. She ignored me as she continued to speak.
New York will be our capital. We will begin here and expand from there. There will be resistance, but it will be met swiftly and mercilessly. There will be those who join us, though. We are going to offer humans a choice as well. A chance to make them better. A chance to give them a real purpose in life. A chance at true freedom.
Please, stop! This woman looked at me. She still seemed cold, but something was slightly different.
Does it hurt? Feeling all the death? I'm sure it does. You must understand, you have a choice too. Join us. You were meant to be us. You are one of us. Why you try to coexist with the face of death and destruction, I will not understand. They are simply enslaving you, holding you back like they do themselves. You aren't like them, Nova. I would say you are much more like me.
I was hurting. What do you mean, like you? Why do you even care? Why do all this to get me here, alone? She chuckled. The most emotion I'd seen or felt from her since our short time knowing one another.
All in due time. Do not mistake my intentions. I am here to save humanity. I am here to free them. Some must die for that, but there are plenty left. They will be offered a choice. It's not really as simple as join or die. No, things are much more complex than that. I've enjoyed our first meeting. I will spare this John this time. I brought you here to make a point, to show you the beginning of the new world. I'll give you 24 hours to make a decision. Next we meet, I won't be so kind.
I was let go and fell to the ground helpless as New York was in the streets below. John! I shot up, only to find the suspect missing completely. It was as though she'd disappeared into thin air. I didn't understand it, but I didn't care either. I leapt down the stairwell soon after kicking the door off its hinges before rushing to John and Marlene. Is John okay? Marlene nodded at me.
He's unconscious, but I think he will be okay. What the fuck happened up there?
I stared at her at a loss. I'm not even sure. The suspect got away. There's so much I don't understand about everything. John coughed up some blood and shot up.
Nova, don't worry about me, kid. I'm old, but I'm not going anywhere yet. I've got a fucking headache from hell, though. Won't lie.
I couldn't help but laugh and hug my partner.
Easy, kid. You have a strong grip. What is going on? I wake up from a migraine from hell to find the city in flames?
I shook my head. I lost the suspect, John. I didn't even get a name, but I was able to commit her image to mind. And if you want, I can upload the data to your phone.
One step at a time, kid. Sure, do that. But let's figure out what to do next, too, okay?
I nodded and soon synced my memory up to John's phone. It was nanoseconds before we had our picture. He spoke, but you could tell that he was hurting.
So this is our suspect? Alright. We'll go hunting her down shortly. For now, though, Let's figure out how the fuck to help our city, too.
John stood for a second but looked dizzy before falling over again.
A little assistance would be appreciated.
I grabbed John and brought him to his car. I helped him to the back before getting into the passenger seat. Marlene was already in the driver's seat and starting up the engine.
Nova and John, let's head to my bar. We'll figure out what to do next there. And recuperate.
I nodded. Is your bar still even standing? She smiled.
Doesn't matter. It's not the bar itself that is important.
Rather happy with herself, Marlene began the drive back. Silently, I pondered what to do next. We had 24 hours, something I hadn't shared yet, but I planned on doing so. I just wanted the others to have a little time to breathe before I had to give that info. There was so much I didn't understand about this mysterious woman in red. There was a lot I didn't understand about myself either. I pondered why I felt anything. What is up with Hale? Who is this woman? Or thing? What is going to happen in New York, or the world for that matter? Why did I feel so helpless?